Let's get into how much these rent increases are, and let's see how unaffordable things are getting.
7:30 at night. Y'all need to go to bed right now.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, hi Lauren, it's Catherine. How are you?
I'm busy. I'm good. What's going on?
Okay, I'm sorry to bother you. I just wanted to talk to you really quickly about the rent increase.
About the what? What?
Well, I just wanted to remind you about the rent
What?
that it's going to be going up by $100 starting next month.
100? What? Excuse me? What the heck? Why?
It's just the standard yearly increase. It just goes up each year. It's in the lease agreement that we both signed.
No. There is no way. I would never. No, I did not agree to that. No, ma'am.
If you weren't okay with it, you shouldn't have signed the lease.
You know, it's funny with these lease signs these days, they do DocuSign, and I like using ChatGPT, right? So if you sign a lease and they send you a DocuSign, you can't even upload it into ChatGPT. It won't give you a PDF or anything for you to send to anyone, even to your attorney to review. So you're just stuck in that DocuSign. And they have so many terms in there.
There's no way that's happening. I need to make sure we're speaking the same language, because either we keep the rent the same or you're not going to get anything at all from me.
Listen, I don't want to get you upset and I don't want to keep this going. So I'm just going to let you know, if you stop paying your rent, I'm going to have no choice but to move forward with an eviction.
An eviction? You know what? You listen. Forget this. I have no time for this nonsense. I'm not paying this. Goodbye.
Lori,
100 each year guaranteed increase. That's not as bad as I've heard some of them. Let's see what else we got.
I'm on my lunch break, but get this. I just got my renewal for my apartment. My lease is up in a couple of months, and they're sending it out to let me know if I'm going to be renewing my lease or if I'm going to be leaving at the end of my term. I opened it up, and the minimum, I currently spend over $2,000 for my apartment a month. I live in a 3-bedroom apartment. It is not new by any means. It is an older apartment. I'm very grateful to have my own place as a single mother in this economy, but it's a lot of money to live here. The minimum, if I chose to renew my lease, is that it would go up is $350. That is the minimum for my apartment.
$350 minimum increase. Oh my goodness. You know, your living situation is getting to be like how jobs are. You know, like at a job, you're not going to get a raise unless you switch jobs to a different employer. Now maybe the only way you're going to get a good deal is by moving every year. It's a lot of work and it costs a lot of money too. But $350 a month increase.
When there's literally houses, 4-bedroom houses on the market with yards for the same price or less. I'm not renewing my lease.
Yeah.
And moving last year during the holiday season was very stressful financially. So I told my mom I'm moving in with her for a few months to do Christmas
Save
or
some
whatever.
money, make it easy.
And then save up some money, and then we'll look for a house. Because this is insane. Truly.
Truly, it is. That is a massive increase, all right? Is it going to get worse than this? Let's keep going.
You're not going to believe how much they're increasing our rent. We just got the renewal letter. You guys, we live in a 426 square foot studio apartment in downtown Chicago. And our rent, this year was $2,108. The previous year, it was $1,930. They want to increase it to $2,649.
Ooh, wow. That's over $500 increase. Dang, that's like a 20% increase. I would not live there. I would probably leave. What would you do? That's insane. And people aren't making 20% more money. Where are they getting the idea that this is the move?
That's over $500 increase. I have no words. Where did they come up with this number? I mean, we had already made up our mind that we're not going to stay in the studio anyways. We are going to move and look for a new place. Hopefully starting next week, we're going to start touring apartments. But over $500 increase for a 426 square foot studio apartment.
For a studio apartment, they already pay $2,100 a month for a studio apartment. Now they want almost $2,600.
I think this is because a new company apparently bought the building, because we have new owners now. We got a letter, I don't know, a couple of months ago that they are taking over the building. So yeah, I think that's why the prices are increasing this much.
And I would say it's time to move.
When your rent goes up $200, but they only gave you a 30-cent raise. So in the close of my lease in 2022, my rent was $1,050. For the next year, they brought it up to $1,150. The next year, they brought it up to $1,550. When they asked me to renew it, they brought it up to $1,800. That is a $750 increase from a third renewal period. $750. That's like 70%.
Insane, man. Insane. I mean, you've got to make more money. I mean, that's the only solution, right? What control do we have?
The thing about this that hurts so much is that you have an entire system looking you right in the face and telling you they can't do more, while they have absolutely increased their own prices, far outpacing inflation. They have increased all of CEO compensation. They have increased executive compensation. They have done everything that they can to make sure that those in power are going to get theirs. They're going into these meetings and telling you that they've made record profits, but they don't have the money to pay the very people that are building those profits.
They're milking the little man, and we're all the little man. Unless you're making 10 million a year, you're the little man.
Looking you in the face and giving you a 30 cent, 50 cent, even a dollar raise. A dollar raise is $160 a month. People's rent payments have gone up $500, $600, $700 across 3 to 4 years. Their grocery payments, if they are, let's just say a two-person family with one kid, their grocery payments alone are like $700 a month to feed a family of
Food's
3.
expensive.
And that's doing it really cheap. That's feeding a family of 3 on $21 a day.
What are we going to do? What can we do? Is there anything that these tenants, us as tenants, can do to fight these increases? I don't know. Let's keep it going.
Remember that the rent that your landlord is charging you is based upon the market rent, but that market rent is often based upon being cheaper than owning, because if it was cheaper to own, in most cases, you would never rent.
Correct.
But they can cover all of their costs because they bought the house years ago, right? So it's at the cost that it cost to obtain years before. So if you ask yourself what's going to happen in 10 years when the houses that are being purchased now are for rent, well, they're going to need to cover the costs of homeownership today.
So it just sounds like some greed, man. It sounds like some major greed, because they have a house that costs them $1,200 mortgage, but they want $3,000 a month for it, because that's what the market is saying.
Rents typically go up over time, whereas your principal and interest payments typically do not in the United States. So while you can save money and invest now, that is assuming that you have that difference between what you would pay to buy and what you pay to rent now, and that it doesn't take into account the increase in rents that will continue to increase.
Yeah, so what he's talking about is if you buy a home in a mortgage, you're basically locked to that payment. So if your mortgage is $3,000, in 10 years it's going to be $3,000, but to rent that house is probably going to be like $5,000 because things go up. But can you buy a house? Do you qualify? Do you have the credit? Do you got the down payment? Do you have the income?
So this month my rent went up, and obviously every year the rent goes up. We all know about the annual rent increase. However, this time is a little different because the increase was way more than it was before, and it's just frustrating because, like, where do they expect us to just get this extra money from? And it's like every year my rent is going up, but I'm not seeing any improvements to my unit. I'm not getting new appliances. I'm not getting any sort of updates in my apartment. I mean, there's a laundry room in the basement of our apartment. I don't even see that being updated. None of the common areas are updated.
When it comes to renting places, you're not paying for anything extra. You're just getting what you already have. They're not going to renovate or update anything. All they're doing is increasing it based on the market. The crazy part about market increases is they just gradually increase it, right? And people pay a little more, and that's the market. But people don't really have all this money, okay? They don't have all this money to keep doing the increases. When is it going to end? There's going to be a breaking point, I think. Yeah. All right, like, comment, subscribe. We'll have fun later.